The year 1402 witnessed one of the most significant battles in Islamic history, the Battle of Ankara. This battle was not just a mere confrontation, but a defining moment that would echo through the annals of history, influencing the fate of empires and the lives of countless individuals. This epic clash pitted two of the late medieval world's most powerful rulers against each other. On one side, the formidable Sultan Bayezid I, known as the Thunderbolt, who had rapidly expanded the Ottoman Empire's territories through a series of relentless campaigns. On the other side, the indomitable Timur, also known as Tamerlane, a Turco-Mongol conqueror whose military prowess and strategic genius had carved out a vast empire stretching from Persia to Central Asia. In one corner stood Sultan Bayezid I, the Thunderbolt, architect of the rising Ottoman Empire. Bayezid's ambition knew no bounds. His vision was to create a dominion that would rival the greatest empires of the past. His military campaigns were swift and decisive, earning him a reputation as a fearsome and unstoppable force. Facing him was Timur, the Sword of Islam, a Turco-Mongol conqueror who commanded a vast empire spanning Persia and Central Asia. Timur's legacy was built on his unparalleled ability to unite disparate tribes and regions under his rule, employing both diplomacy and ruthless military tactics. His empire was a mosaic of cultures, languages, and traditions, all held together by his iron will. Their confrontation was not merely a clash of armies, but a collision of ambitions, strategies, and legacies that would reshape the political landscape of the Islamic world. The stakes were incredibly high as both leaders sought to cement their dominance and leave an indelible mark on history. The strategies employed by both sides were intricate and meticulously planned, reflecting the brilliance and cunning of their respective leaders. The Battle of Ankara was a watershed moment. The battlefield was a chaotic and brutal arena where the fate of empires was decided. The clash of swords, the thunder of hooves, and the cries of warriors filled the air as both sides fought with unparalleled ferocity. The outcome of this battle would determine the future trajectory of the Ottoman Empire and the legacy of Timur's conquest. It marked the end of the Ottomans' early unstoppable expansion and plunged the nascent empire into a period of internal strife. The defeat at Ankara was a severe blow to Bayezid's ambitions, leading to a power struggle within the Ottoman ranks. The once unified empire now faced the threat of fragmentation as rival factions vied for control. Timur's victory, however, proved to be a fleeting triumph. While he emerged victorious on the battlefield, the long-term stability of his empire was far from assured. The celebrations of his triumph were short-lived as the challenges of governing a vast and diverse empire soon became apparent. His vast but loosely held empire soon fragmented after his death, leaving a power vacuum that others would scramble to fill. The lack of a strong central authority led to the rise of regional powers and the eventual disintegration of Timur's empire. The power vacuum created by his death set the stage for new conflicts and the emergence of new leaders who sought to carve out their own legacies. The legacy of Ankara, therefore, is one of profound change and enduring consequences, shaping the destinies of empires and the course of history for centuries to come. The battle's impact was felt far beyond the immediate aftermath, influencing the political, cultural, and social landscapes of the regions involved. The lessons learned from this clash of titans continue to resonate, reminding us of the complexities and uncertainties of power and ambition in the ever-changing tapestry of history. To understand the magnitude of the clash at Ankara, we must first delve into the lives and characters of the two protagonists. This battle was not just a mere confrontation of armies, but a collision of two titanic personalities whose ambitions and legacies shaped the course of history. Bayezid I, who ascended to the Ottoman throne in 1389, was a ruler of immense energy and ambition. His rise to power was marked by a series of strategic moves and bold decisions that showcased his prowess as a leader. Bayezid was not just a king. He was a visionary who saw the potential for a vast empire under his command. Known as Yildirim, the Thunderbolt, for his swift and decisive military victories, Bayezid had expanded Ottoman dominion significantly in the Balkans and Anatolia. His military campaigns were characterized by their speed and efficiency, often catching his enemies off guard and securing quick victories. His nickname, Thunderbolt, was a testament to his ability to strike with lightning speed and devastating impact. He crushed a Crusader army at Nicopolis in 1396, a victory that cemented his reputation as a formidable warrior and a champion of Islam. This battle was a turning point not just for Bayezid but for the entire Ottoman Empire. It demonstrated the might of the Ottoman military and Bayezid's skill as a commander. The victory at Nicopolis sent shockwaves throughout Europe and the Islamic world, solidifying Bayezid's status as a powerful and influential ruler. Across the Euphrates River, another empire was rising under the leadership of Timur, also known as Tamerlane. Timur's rise to power was equally dramatic and filled with tales of conquest and ambition. His empire, though different in many ways from Bayezid's, was built on a foundation of military might and strategic brilliance. Born in Transoxiana, modern-day Uzbekistan, Timur was a brilliant military strategist and a ruthless conqueror. His early life was marked by a series of battles and alliances that helped him consolidate power and lay the groundwork for his future empire. Timur's strategic mind and relentless drive made him a formidable opponent on the battlefield. He united the fragmented Mongol tribes and carved out a vast empire that stretched from Delhi to Damascus. This was no small feat, as the Mongol tribes were known for their fierce independence and warrior culture. Timur's ability to bring them together under his banner was a testament to his leadership and vision. His empire was a melting pot of cultures and traditions, reflecting the diverse regions he had conquered. Timur presented himself as a champion of Islam, a restorer of Genghis Khan's legacy, and a scourge to those he deemed his enemies. His campaigns were often framed as holy wars, aimed at purifying the Islamic world and restoring its former glory. Timur's legacy was a complex one, marked by both his brutal conquests and his efforts to promote Islamic culture and learning. His reign left an indelible mark on the regions he ruled, shaping their history for centuries to come. The rivalry between Bayezid and Timur stemmed from several factors. These two formidable leaders, each with their own vision of grandeur, were bound to clash. Their ambitions were not just personal, but also deeply rooted in their desire to expand their territories and influence. Both rulers possessed an unquenchable thirst for conquest and saw themselves as the rightful heirs to the legacy of the Seljuk Turks, who had once ruled over much of Anatolia. This shared ambition created a volatile environment where any slight or perceived insult could ignite a full-scale conflict. Their ambitions inevitably brought them into conflict as their expanding empires collided. The lands they sought to control were rich in resources and strategically important, making them highly coveted prizes. As their borders expanded, so did the likelihood of skirmishes and battles. Territorial disputes along their shared borders further fueled the tension. These disputes were not merely about land, but also about the control of trade routes and the assertion of dominance. Each ruler sought to outmaneuver the other, leading to a series of confrontations that escalated the rivalry. Adding fuel to the fire was a clash of personalities and a battle for prestige in the Islamic world. Bayezid and Timur were both larger-than-life figures, each with a distinct style of leadership. Bayezid's impulsiveness and arrogance often put him at odds with Timur's calculated and strategic approach. Bayezid, known for his arrogance and impulsiveness, dismissed Timur's diplomatic overtures and reportedly sent him insulting letters. These letters were not just personal attacks, but also political statements, meant to undermine Timur's authority and question his legitimacy. Timur, a master of psychological warfare, used these insults to justify his campaign, portraying Bayezid as an upstart who dared to challenge his authority. He skillfully manipulated the narrative to rally his troops and justify his actions, turning Bayezid's insults into a powerful motivator for his own forces. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of empires. Both leaders marshaled their forces, preparing for a battle that would not only decide their own fates, but also shape the future of the region. The impending war was more than just a clash of armies. It was a battle of wills, strategies, and legacies. As the tension reached its peak, the world watched, knowing that the outcome would reverberate through history. A clash of titans, the inevitable war between Timur and Bayezid, two empires, vast and powerful, stretched across Asia. One, the Ottoman Empire, was young and ambitious, led by the fiery Sultan Bayezid I. The other, the Timurid Empire, was a seasoned power, forged in the fires of conquest by the legendary Timur, also known as Tamerlane. Their borders drew closer, their ambitions clashed, and war became a matter of when, not if. Both rulers were masters of war. Their names whispered with a mixture of fear and admiration. They craved power, sought glory, and brooked no rivals. Their destinies, like two celestial bodies on a collision course, were destined to clash in a storm of steel and blood. Timur, having carved a path of destruction from India to the Mediterranean, saw the Ottomans as obstacles in his pursuit of universal dominion. Bayezid, eager to expand his own realm, viewed Timur as a threat to his hard-won gains in Anatolia. The stage was set for a clash of titans, a battle that would determine the fate of empires and reshape the political landscape of the late medieval world. Letters of fire, diplomatic missives and escalating tensions. The clash between Timur and Bayezid was not just a clash of armies, but also a war of words. Their correspondence, filled with veiled threats and thinly veiled insults, reveals the escalating tensions that led to the cataclysmic battle. Timur, in his letters, addressed Bayezid with a patronizing tone, referring to him as a mere Turkoman emir and belittling his accomplishments. Bayezid, in turn, responded with fiery defiance, refusing to back down from the challenge posed by the aging conqueror. "You are but a petty prince," Timur wrote to Bayezid, "who has grown arrogant with a few victories." Bayezid, never one to be outdone in bravado, retorted, "You are an old man, Timur, living on borrowed time." These exchanges, far from diffusing the situation, only served to further inflame the animosity between the two rulers. Each letter was a spark, igniting the tinderbox of their rivalry and pushing them closer to the brink of war. The Siege of SAS, a grim foretelling of Timur's military prowess. In 1400, Timur made his intentions clear. He laid siege to Sivas, a key Ottoman city in Anatolia. The Siege of SAS was a brutal affair, a testament to Timur's military genius and a grim foretelling of the fate that awaited Bayezid's forces. Timur, a master of siege warfare, employed a combination of brute force and cunning strategy. He encircled the city with his vast army, cutting off all supply lines and bombarding its walls with a relentless barrage of cannon fire. He offered the people of Sivas a choice: surrender and be spared, or resist and face the full fury of his wrath. The citizens of Sivas, terrified by the prospect of facing Timur's wrath, chose to surrender. Timur, true to his word, spared the city but made sure to send a chilling message to Bayezid by dismantling its fortifications. The fall of Sivas sent shockwaves through the Ottoman Empire. Bayezid's folly, a sultan's pride, leads to ruin. Bayezid, known for his swiftness in battle, earning him the epithet Yildirim Thunderbolt, made a series of critical errors in the lead-up to the Battle of Ankara. Blinded by his previous victories and fueled by an overconfidence that bordered on arrogance, Bayezid underestimated his opponent. He dismissed the advice of his seasoned generals, who urged caution and a more measured approach against Timur's seasoned army. Instead, Bayezid allowed his pride to cloud his judgment. He rushed into battle, believing that his superior numbers and the ferocity of his troops would be enough to crush Timur's forces. He failed to adequately scout the terrain, neglected to secure his supply lines, and alienated his allies amongst the Anatolian beyliks, who resented his overbearing rule. Bayezid's arrogance proved to be his undoing. He had led his army into a trap from which there would be no escape. Section 5, the Plains of Anora, a battle for the ages. The two armies clashed on the Plains of Anora in 1402. The Battle of Ankara was a titanic struggle, a clash of empires that would decide the fate of the Middle East for generations to come. Timur, a master tactician, used his army's mobility to outmaneuver the Ottomans. He lured Bayezid's forces into a carefully prepared killing ground, cutting off their water supply and subjecting them to a withering barrage of arrows from his mounted archers. Bayezid, his army exhausted and demoralized, fought with the courage of a cornered lion. But his bravery was not enough to overcome the tactical brilliance of Timur and the discipline of the Timurid army. The Ottoman lines crumbled, their formations shattered by wave after wave of attacks. By nightfall, the Ottoman army was utterly defeated. Bayezid, captured along with one of his sons, became a prisoner of Timur. Section 6, The Aftermath, a broken empire and Timur's legacy. The defeat at Ankara sent shockwaves throughout the Islamic world. The Ottoman Empire, once on the cusp of greatness, was plunged into a decade of civil war known as the Ottoman Interregnum. Bayezid's sons vying for the throne tore the empire apart, their conflict further weakening the once mighty state. Timur, having crushed his rival, continued his campaign of conquest, adding Syria and Baghdad to his vast empire. However, Timur's victory at Ankara was ultimately a hollow one. He died in 1405, his vast empire quickly disintegrating under his successors. Despite his short-lived triumph, Timur's legacy lived on. Section 7, The Significance of Ankara, a turning point in Ottoman history. The Battle of Ankara was a watershed moment in Ottoman history. It marked the end of the early period of rapid Ottoman expansion and ushered in an era of internal strife and consolidation. The Ottoman Interregnum, a decade of civil war following Bayezid's capture, tested the resilience of the Ottoman state and almost led to its collapse. However, the Ottomans proved to be survivors. From the ashes of defeat, they rose again, stronger and more determined than before. Future Ottoman sultans, mindful of Bayezid's fate, adopted a more cautious and pragmatic approach to expansion. This period of introspection and adaptation laid the groundwork for the Ottoman Empire's eventual resurgence and its transformation into one of the most powerful and enduring empires in history. Section 8, Timur and Bayezid, a study in contrasts. Timur and Bayezid, two titans who clashed on the plains of Ankara, offer a fascinating study in contrasts. Timur, the seasoned conqueror, was a master strategist, a cunning politician and a ruthless pragmatist. He understood the importance of logistics, the power of psychological warfare, and the need to adapt his tactics to the situation at hand. Bayezid, on the other hand, was a man of action, a warrior king known for his swiftness and decisiveness on the battlefield. Their clash at Ankara was not just a battle between two armies, but a clash of two different approaches to warfare, two different visions of empire. Their confrontation serves as a timeless reminder that in war as in life, careful planning and adaptability often trump brute force and blind ambition. Section 9, Alternative Histories. What if Bayezid had won? The Battle of Ankara, a pivotal moment in history, invites speculation about alternative outcomes. What if Bayezid had heeded the advice of his generals and avoided a direct confrontation with Timur? What if he had maintained the support of his Anatolian allies and presented a united front against the Timurid threat? Had Bayezid emerged victorious, the course of Ottoman history, and indeed world history, would have been dramatically different. The Ottoman Empire, spared the devastation of defeat and the chaos of the Interregnum, might have continued its westward expansion, potentially conquering Constantinople decades earlier and altering the balance of power in Europe. However, such speculation remains just that, speculation. The reality is that Bayezid was defeated, and his defeat had profound consequences for the Ottoman Empire and the wider world. Section 10. Conclusion, the enduring significance of the Battle of Ankara. The Battle of Ankara, a clash of titans, a turning point in history, continues to fascinate and intrigue us centuries later. It was a battle that had it all larger-than-life personalities, clashing empires, military brilliance, and tragic miscalculations. It was a battle that reshaped the political landscape of the Middle East, delayed the rise of the Ottoman Empire, and left an indelible mark on the course of history. The Battle of Ankara reminds us that even the mightiest empires are not invincible. It highlights the importance of leadership, strategy, and adaptability in the face of adversity. The echoes of that fateful battle still resonate today, reminding us of the enduring power of the past to shape our present and influence our future. The Battle of Ankara, fought on a scorching July day in 1402, stands as one of the most decisive clashes in medieval history. This battle, set against the backdrop of a parched and unforgiving landscape, was not just a mere confrontation of armies, but a pivotal moment that would alter the course of empires and the fate of nations. Two of the world's most powerful rulers, Sultan Bayezid, the first of the Ottoman Empire, and Timur, the fearsome conqueror from Central Asia, collided in a battle that would reshape the destiny of empires. These two titans, each with their own grand visions and ambitions, brought with them not only their formidable armies, but also their indomitable wills and strategic genius. At stake was nothing less than supremacy in the Eastern Mediterranean world, control of vital trade routes, and the legacy of two extraordinary military minds. The control of these trade routes meant economic dominance, the flow of wealth, and the power to influence the politics and culture of the region. The battle was not just about territorial gains, but about securing a legacy that would be remembered for generations. The stage was set for a clash of titans, a battle that would echo through the ages. The preparations were meticulous, with both sides understanding the gravity of the confrontation. Soldiers readied their weapons, commanders strategized, and the air was thick with anticipation and the scent of impending conflict. For Bayezid, known as the Thunderbolt for his swift and decisive victories, the battle represented a chance to cement his grip on power and expand his already vast empire. His reputation as a fierce and relentless leader was on the line, and he was determined to prove that his moniker was well deserved. He had pushed the Ottoman frontiers deep into Anatolia and the Balkans, threatening the Byzantine capital of Constantinople and sending shockwaves through Christian Europe. His campaigns had been marked by rapid advances and overwhelming force, leaving a trail of conquered territories and subdued foes in his wake. Timur, on the other hand, approached the battle as the culmination of a lifetime of conquest. His journey had been one of relentless ambition and strategic brilliance, carving out an empire that spanned vast and diverse regions. Known as Timur the Lame or Tamerlane, he had carved out a vast empire stretching from India to the Mediterranean. His conquests were not just about territorial expansion, but about establishing a legacy of power and dominance that would be remembered long after his time. He saw Bayezid as a threat to his ambitions and a rival to his claim as the world's most powerful ruler. The clash between them was inevitable, a confrontation between two leaders who could not coexist in a world where only one could be the supreme ruler. The two leaders embodied vastly different styles of leadership and warfare. Their approaches to battle were as different as their personalities, each bringing their unique strengths and strategies to the field. Bayezid was known for his impetuosity and aggression, relying on the power of his janissaries, an elite infantry force, and the swift movements of his Turkish cavalry. His tactics were often bold and direct, aiming to overwhelm his enemies with sheer force and speed. Timur, by contrast, was a master strategist, a patient planner, who employed a mix of cunning tactics and overwhelming force to achieve his goals. His approach was methodical, often using deception and psychological warfare to outmaneuver his opponents before delivering the final crushing blow. The Battle of Ankara would be a test not only of military might, but also of two contrasting personalities and styles of command. It was a confrontation that would determine not just the fate of two empires, but also the legacy of two of history's most formidable leaders. The echoes of this battle would resonate through the annals of history, a testament to the enduring impact of their clash. To understand the magnitude of the clash at Ankara, it's essential to delve into the rise of Bayezid and the growing might of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire, under Bayezid's leadership, was not just expanding its borders, but also solidifying its power and influence across the region. Grandson of the founder Osman I, Bayezid inherited a realm already on the ascent. Osman had laid the foundation, and Bayezid was determined to build an empire that would be remembered for centuries. He was a ruthless and ambitious ruler, determined to expand his territory and establish Ottoman dominance in the region. His military campaigns were relentless, and his strategies were often brutal but effective. Bayezid's reign was marked by a series of stunning military triumphs. His ability to mobilize and lead his forces was unparalleled, and his victories were celebrated throughout the empire. He crushed his rivals in Anatolia, consolidating his power and eliminating any threats to his rule. His campaigns in Anatolia were swift and decisive, leaving little room for resistance. Subjugated the remnants of the Byzantine Empire in Asia Minor, further extending his influence. The once great Byzantine Empire was now a shadow of its former self, struggling to survive against the might of the Ottomans, and even besieged Constantinople itself, pushing the once mighty Byzantine Empire to the brink of collapse. The Siege of Constantinople was a testament to Bayezid's ambition and his desire to conquer the unconquerable. His victories in the Balkans, culminating in the Battle of Nicopolis in 1396, were particularly significant. The battle was a major confrontation between the Ottoman forces and a coalition of European crusaders, where he shattered a crusader army, sent shockwaves through Christian Europe. The defeat of the Crusaders at Nicopolis was a clear message to Europe about the rising power of the Ottoman Empire. Bayezid's rapid expansion and military prowess made him the most formidable ruler in the region, earning him the moniker the Thunderbolt. His nickname reflected his swift and powerful military campaigns that struck fear into his enemies. And, instilling fear in the hearts of his enemies, the mere mention of Bayezid's name was enough to cause panic among his adversaries. However, Bayezid's successes were also fueled by a volatile temper and a tendency for impulsive action. His impulsiveness often led him to make hasty decisions that were not always in the best interest of his empire. His ambition often outpaced his strategic thinking, leading him to make crucial mistakes that would come back to haunt him. His advisors often found it challenging to temper his ambitions with practical considerations. His treatment of defeated enemies could be brutal, creating resentments that Timur would later exploit. Bayezid's harsh methods of dealing with his foes left a trail of bitterness and anger that would eventually contribute to his downfall. While Bayezid's reign marked a high point for the early Ottoman Empire, his flaws, coupled with the emergence of Timur on the world stage, created a volatile situation. Timur, a formidable conqueror in his own right, saw an opportunity to challenge Bayezid's dominance, would set in motion the events that led to the cataclysm at Ankara. The Battle of Ankara was not just a clash of armies, but a confrontation between two of the most powerful rulers of the time, each determined to assert their supremacy. While Bayezid was consolidating his power in Anatolia and the Balkans, he was not the only ambitious leader of his time. The Ottoman Empire was expanding rapidly, and Bayezid's military campaigns were both strategic and ruthless. His forces were well-trained, disciplined, and highly motivated, making significant advances in the region. Meanwhile, another empire was rising in the east, led by a figure no less ambitious and ruthless, Timur, also known as Tamerlane. Timur's rise to power was marked by a series of calculated moves and decisive battles that showcased his strategic brilliance and unyielding determination. Born into a minor Turco-Mongol clan in what is now Uzbekistan, Timur's life was a testament to his cunning, ambition, and utter ruthlessness. From a young age, he demonstrated an exceptional ability to lead and inspire those around him. His early years were spent navigating the complex and often dangerous political landscape of the Central Asian steppes. Through a combination of military skill, political maneuvering, and sheer brutality, Timur rose from obscurity to become the most powerful ruler in Central Asia. His ascent was not without challenges. He faced numerous rivals and had to constantly prove his dominance through both diplomacy and warfare. He united warring tribes, conquered vast territories, and established a vast empire that stretched from India to the borders of the Ottoman Empire. His ability to bring together diverse groups under his rule was a testament to his leadership and vision. Timur's empire was a melting pot of cultures, languages, and traditions, all held together by his iron will. His campaigns were legendary for their scale and brutality. Timur's military expeditions were meticulously planned and executed with precision. His armies were known for their speed and ferocity, often catching his enemies off guard and overwhelming them with sheer force. Cities like Delhi were sacked and their populations massacred, serving as a chilling reminder of Timur's power. The devastation left in his wake was a stark warning to those who dared to oppose him. Timur's reputation for ruthlessness was well earned, and his enemies often capitulated out of sheer terror. Timur saw himself as the heir to Genghis Khan, a restorer of Mongol glory and a champion of Islam. He sought to revive the legacy of the great Mongol conqueror while also positioning himself as a defender of the Islamic faith. This dual identity made him a complex and multifaceted leader, respected and feared in equal measure. He was a complex figure, a patron of the arts and sciences who could be both charming and utterly ruthless. Under his rule, the cities of his empire flourished as centers of culture and learning. Timur's court attracted scholars, artists, and architects from across the known world, leading to a renaissance of sorts in Central Asia. His military genius was undeniable, but so was his capacity for cruelty. Timur's strategies were often innovative and ahead of their time, incorporating elements of psychological warfare and deception. However, his methods were brutal, and he did not hesitate to use extreme measures to achieve his goals. By the time his gaze turned towards Bayezid and the Ottomans, Timur had amassed a fearsome reputation as a conqueror who brooked no opposition. His army was a formidable force, and his name struck fear into the hearts of those who heard it. The prospect of a clash between Timur and Bayezid was a cause for both anticipation and dread. The stage was set for an epic confrontation between two of the most powerful rulers the world had ever seen. This showdown was not just a battle for territory, but a clash of titans, each with their own vision for the future. The outcome of this confrontation would shape the course of history in ways that neither could have fully anticipated.